Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Promoted Sandra. If this is the first time you are coming across this channel, thank you very much for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make 3-part corset. Okay, so this is going to be the sewing tutorial. I already have the drafted tutorial up there on my channel, so if you've not watched it, go ahead and watch it. Okay, then come back and watch the sewing tutorial. I've gone ahead to cut this out on my fabric, okay, using the pattern paper. So I went ahead to add 1/2 inch sewing allowance at the upper part, as you can see, and also on the cup as well. So for the down part of this corset for the top, I already explained it on the drafting tutorial video. So if you've not watched it, go ahead and watch it. Okay, so I've also gone ahead to add sewing allowance at the upper part of the back and the downside of the back. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and remove the pins from this pattern paper. Okay, so once I was done removing it, this is it. I also went ahead to iron gum stay, okay, light gum stay on the fabric and also on the lining as well. So I did the same thing for every single pieces, both the cup and the dark part of the cup. And for this arrow, remember while I was drafting it, I explained to you guys why I use this arrow like this, why I numbered it. Okay, so this number 2 is the center front based on the explanation I gave to you guys. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick number 2 and number 3 and place it together like this. Then after that, I will go ahead and pin it together. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark the number 2 like this, okay, because I want to know the center front. So you can also go ahead and notch it if possible, but I'm going to be doing that later though. So I'll go ahead and continue pinning it. So once I was done pinning it, I will take it to the same machine and sew it like this with 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pin the other part. You can see the way I am pinning it. You can see the way I'm placing it. So I'll go ahead and notch the number 2, which is the center front, because I just want it to be easy for me to identify. I'm going to be doing same for the other side of the cup. Okay, so once I was done, I'll just go ahead and keep it aside. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and I'll also do the same thing for the breast tube. So this is the breast tube. You can go ahead and use breast cup if you have it. So for me, I'm going to be using breast tube. I'm just going to make sure I take note of the center front, just like as I did for the first one. Okay, I will notch the center front. Then after that, I'll go ahead and pick number 2 and number 3 and pin it together. So I'm going to be doing the same thing for the lining as well. So after that, I will take them to the same machine and sew it. So always place your paper to know which side is going to which direction. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew it, and this is how it look like. So I went ahead to sew it with 1/2 inch, both for the breast tube and also for the lining as well. So once I was done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and place the first part, which is, this is 3-part corset, right? So I'm going to be placing the upper part to it. So I'm going to be taking note of the center front. Then go ahead and place the right side is going to be facing the right side of the down. Go ahead and place it and pin it, just like as you can see me doing. So once you're done pinning it, the next thing you're going to be doing is to take it to the sewing machine and sew it. So I'm going to be doing the same thing for both the breast tube, the other side of the cup, and also for the lining. I'm going to be repeating the same thing for this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew it with 1/2 inch. So this is me sewing it, okay, with 1/2 inch. It's very easy to sew. Just go ahead and be patient with this. So once I was done sewing it, I'll go ahead and remove the pin, then sew the other side, just like as you can see me doing. So once I was done sewing this part, I will go ahead and sew the lining. I'll also go ahead and sew the breast tube together. Okay, so the same thing I did for the main fabric is what I'm going to be doing for the lining and the breast tube, just like as you can see me doing. So just be patient with this. Okay, so once I was done sewing it, I'll go ahead and notch it, just like as you can see me doing. Go ahead and notch it so it will be very easy for it to relax on your cup. So I'll also notch both the fabric and the lining. So once I was done notching it, I went ahead to iron it out. So this is how it looked like. You can see how beautiful this is. So you can see how cupping this is. Okay, the cup is cupping. So there's a lot of space for your bust to relax if you actually cut it the way I showed you. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place the fabric, the cup on the breast tube like this. So I'll go ahead and place it, and I'll go ahead and arrange it very well. So the lines must be meeting each other like this. So make sure there's space, okay, at the edge over here like this for sewing allowance. So once you're done, go ahead and pin it, okay, use your pin before ironing it, and make sure you take note of the center front. Okay, remember we actually notch it, so the center front of the fabric and also for the breast tube must be facing each other. So I've gone ahead to iron it, and this is how it look like. You can see this is really so beautiful. So what I'm going to be doing next is to go ahead and cut out the excesses, just like as you can see me doing. I'll also cut out the excesses on the fabric, okay, from the corners, okay, and also at the upper parts. So I've gone ahead to trim out the excesses, and this is it. The next I'm going to be doing now is to insert my boning on my dress, okay, because I'm going to be using boning. So I'm going to be using boba bias as well. So before I do that, I'll go ahead and fold my fabric into two and notch the center. This is very, very important. Go ahead and fold it into two and notch the center. So after that, I'll go ahead and draw my boning casing. So I'm going to make my boning casing very straight. So if you want yours to be slant, go ahead and slant it. So I'm going to make my very straight. So at this edge over here like this, I will go ahead and measure 1.5 inch, okay. Then I will come to the other side. I will mark 1.5 inch. Make sure you measure it and is equal to make it equal. Then I will come to the down and measure 2 inches. So I'll also go ahead and mark 2 inches on the other side. So once I was done, I'll go ahead and mark a straight line across, just like as you can see me doing. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place my boning on it. Take note of the 1/2 inch at the upper part, okay, and also minus 1 inch from the down part, so that you'll be able to sew the upper part and the down part as well. So I'm going to go ahead and measure it like this using my boning, okay. Make sure you minus 1/2 inch from the upper part and the down part 1 inch, okay. So I have gone ahead to cut out every single pieces I need for this. So I'll go ahead and sew this boning on the black rubber bias I'm using. So take note of the edge over here. So the edge over here is very flat. Go ahead and sew through this flat edge. Do not sew on the center because your thread will just be cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and place this on it like this. So this one belongs to the center part, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take minus 1/2 inch from the black rubber bias, okay. So after that 1/2 inch, I'll go ahead and place the boning and start sewing it at the edge, okay. As I earlier said, sew the two sides before cutting it. So I've gone ahead to add 1 inch at the down for the boba bias. So if you take note, you're going to notice that I did not start from the beginning of the boba bias, and I did not sew it towards the end of the boba bias. So I left 1/2 inch at the up and 1 inch at the down. So I'll go ahead and place it on my fabric, then sew it like this, okay, just like as you can see me doing. Please, while doing this, be patient, okay. So it's going to take maybe your time. Just go ahead and be patient with this. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and sew the other one on the boba bias like this. Then also take note of the 1/2 inch at the up and 1/2 inch at the down. Go ahead and sew the two sides on the boba bias. Then after that, go ahead and cover it up and place it on your fabric and start sewing it like this. So I'm going to be doing the same thing for the back as well. So another tip and tricks I'm going to be giving to you here is, before sewing your boning on your dress, go ahead and iron your boning to make it very straight. If you take note, you're going to see that my fabric is not folding up or is not round, okay. So once I was done with that, I went ahead to cut out a stripe, which I'm going to be using for the dress. So the length of this stripe is 15 inches, so the wideness is 2.5 inches. I'll just go ahead and fold it into two like this, then sew the upper part, then sew the side like this, just like as you can see me doing. After sewing it, I went ahead to use something to turn it out, okay. So after that, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to go ahead and attach the cup on the dress. So I'm going to be taking note of the middle, okay. Remember, I actually notched the middle on the dress before. So place the middle on the dress and the middle of the cup together. Then from there, start pinning it to the other side, just like as you can see me doing. So I will just go ahead and pin it like this. Then once I was done pinning this part, I'll go ahead and pin the other side round like this, okay, just like as you can see me doing. Then after pinning it, I'll go ahead and sew it, okay. That is what I'm going to be doing for the other side as well. And whatever I do for the male dresses, the male fabric, is what I'm going to be doing for the lining as well. So just be patient with this. Remember, we've already gone ahead to sew our boning on it, so it's going to be a little bit stressful when doing this, most especially at the window. So just be patient with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, just like as you can see me doing. After that, I'll go ahead and sew it. So guys, I'm done sewing it. This is how it look. This is so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the excess. So I only have excess at this part here. This part I'm cutting, this is the only place I have excesses. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and lining it. So I'll go ahead and minus ½ inch from the down of the lining before sewing the cup on it. Okay, so the reason why I went ahead to minus ½ inch from the down is because after sewing it, instead of the lining to be showing, the fabric itself will be showing. Just the same thing I did for the first one, that is the same thing I'm going to be doing for the lining as well. I'm going to be repeating the same process. I'll go ahead and sew it just like you can see me doing. So I've gone ahead to sew the 2 cups on it. This is how it's look like. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing, because I have excesses on the cup of this corset, what I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and place the lining on the fabric like this. To just make sure the right side are both facing each other, and take note of the ½ inch. Go ahead and pin it down using your pin. Okay, I'm going to pin it round. So I'll just go ahead and pin the upper part over here like this. After that, I'll go ahead and cut out the excesses. So after pinning it, go ahead and cut out the excesses on the lining. Okay, just like this. Then once I was done, I'll go ahead and remove the pins, then remove the lining. Then after that, I'll go ahead and measure from the middle here. I'll measure 4 inch, which is my nipple to nipple measurement. I'll measure 4 inch. So from that 4 inch, I'll go ahead and place my stripe on it like this. I'll use my pin to pin it down. After pinning it down, I'll go ahead and sew it. Okay, so I'm going to be pinning the other side as well. So go ahead and sew it. Then I'll go ahead and sew the other one before I'll go ahead and lining it. So once I was done, I'll go ahead and remove the pin. Okay, so this is the lining. I'm going to be, the right side of the lining is going to be facing the right side of the fabric. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is to go ahead and pin the center of the dress and the center of the lining together. Then go ahead and pin it around like this, and make sure you flip your stripe inside, okay, before pinning it around. After that, go ahead and sew it with ½ inch, just like as you can see me doing. So when you are doing this, just be patient with it so that your work will come out pretty nice. So after that, go ahead and notch it, just like you can see me doing. I'll go ahead and notch it. After notching it, I'll go ahead and top stitch on it. So if you take notes, you're going to notice that I'm top stitching on the lining, not on the main fabric. So when you are top stitching, top stitch on the lining. Okay, so once I was done with that, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'll go ahead and flip the stripe inside like this. Then go ahead and drag the lining and the fabric together and then sew it. Remember, the fabric is longer than the lining. We actually minus ½ inch from the lining, so go ahead and drag it and sew it. After that, go ahead and sew the side. Start from the beginning, from the upper part. Then for this other side, remember we are going to be flipping this out. I'm just going to go ahead and sew it little. Then after that, I'll cut the thread. I'll come to the down side and sew it little. Okay, like this. Then from the space I left, I'll go ahead and turn it out from that space, just like as you can see me doing. So after turning it, this is what I have. I'm just going to go ahead and sew this space here. I'll go ahead and flip it over like this, then sew it. Then this is the lining. I'll go ahead and minus ½ inch, just like the same thing I did for the front lining. So after that, I'll go ahead and place it on the back, then sew it. I'll go ahead and sew it straight. It's very easy. Okay, just pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, after sewing it, I will top stitch on it. Then I will sew it down, drag it together, and then sew it. After sewing it, go ahead and sew the side. After sewing this side, then for the zipper area, I'll go ahead and sew it from the beginning a little, then come to the down side and sew it a little. Then from there, turn it out, then iron it. Okay, so guys, after ironing it, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to go ahead and sew my zipper on it. After I was done sewing the zip, I went ahead to attach the stripe on the back. So I went ahead to attach the stripe on the nipple to nipple measurement at the back. Okay, the 4 inch mark at the back. So I would have showed that part. My ring light, which is my tripod, got broken, so I was trying to remove my phone and reface it, so it just broke. Okay, so I've not fixed it yet. After that, I went ahead to shaping it. Okay, after the shaping, this is how it look like. So this is the end part of this video. So if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So see you guys on my next video, and don't also forget to join this challenge. I'm going to be leaving the link to join this challenge at the description section, which is my Facebook group.